All right, we're gonna start with e4 here. Caro-Kann defense, a lot of people like it. Some people think it's bad, some people think it's good. I think that in general with the white pieces, there are two setups that I recommend. One of them is to play the exchange Caro-Kann. The other one is to play knight c3. I don't really recommend the fantasy at the lower levels. It's obviously playable if you do enough work, but I think it's difficult to understand the themes because there are a lot of positions where you're gonna have to go e5 and then f4 later on that don't make a whole lot of sense. Vishy played it all the time at GC. Yes, you guys. Vishy Anand is not you though. Slight difference. So when I talk about the opening, because at the top level any opening is playable, but I don't think really, yeah, people who make some equation of like, I'm not talking about the top level. The top level any opening is playable. So I'm going to play this move knight to g3, and the reason I'm going to play it is primarily because the knight still targets some critical squares where black pieces can go, and you can still develop normal moves like knight f3, bishop d3, and castles, etc. Still feels a little bit slow for some reason. Yeah, it still feels slow. Okay, let's go bishop c4. Still feels a touch slow. Let me up the speed to 9 or something. Okay, there we go. So yeah, like you can go knight f3, knight e2, and castles, etc., and go from there. Yeah, but I mean the notion, I'm going to reroute the knights. Now this game is turning out a little bit weird because of the way my opponent has played it, but it is what it is. So let's go knight e3 here, attack the bishop, try to trade off this light square bishop. But yeah, I mean when I talk about openings, keep in mind, you guys, I'm talking about at the lower levels. I'm not talking about at the very top. I mean the notion that you guys think I'm talking about like at the very top is not the point. I never am referring to the top players when I talk about openings, unless it's like during a top event. So you get bishop d6. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna castle and just go h3 probably at some point. Tartakower, I mean Tartakower, I don't really like it that much if you're gonna play it the proper correct way, because you get a bishop on b7. It's not easy to understand the themes at the lower levels. So that's the general gist. Okay, I'm gonna play h3, not hang the pawn on h2 here. So yep, I'm gonna eat some food. I'm a little bit hungry. Actually no, I'll wait till later. Okay, he castles. I guess I'll play b4. Are you thinking of shorting Nvidia? It's at 475. I haven't been watching. I assume markets are again up ridiculously today because of JP Morgan, right? Yeah, I mean it's starting to look a little bit stretched though. I mean it's really looking stretched. Every day we're up like 0.5%. It looks really stretched to me, this whole rally. I mean it looks really stretched. Like you see Google up, like Meta's up what, like 10% this week or more. I mean it's just looking really stretched at this point. So I'm not shorting anything right now per se, but I'm very skeptical that this rally is going to continue. Very skeptical. I'm gonna take the pawn, play like queen c2 here, and then play like knight c4. Yeah, I mean I think everything in tech is way overvalued at the moment. Let's go here, play queen c2. But again, if interest rates are going down and the Fed isn't going to keep hiking, I can totally see a world where it's justified at current levels. Let's play rook b1, maybe c4 b5. Did I get another wrap? It was in my fridge from yesterday. But yes, so yeah, that's what I would say. I mean just looking at it, because yeah, again, like what actually is up though, because when I look at stuff like Amazon, there's stuff that's up, but we're up almost 1% at least in the Nasdaq, so it looks kind of weird. Or no, sorry, it's 0.6 not 0.8, my mistake. Now what I want to do here is maybe attack on the queen side here. I put the rook on the b file so I can start pushing these pawns forward and attack towards the black king on b8. So let's see what we get. He goes g5. I think I'm going to play c5 and then b5. Try to rip open this b file. Use the rook with the pawn here. Try to attack the black king. So he takes. I will take back. And now again, a lot of pressure. My king is fairly safe on g1. He's trying to attack, but I'm a little bit quicker here, I think, on the queen side. I can play b6, but if I go b6 and queen a4, maybe it's working, maybe it's not. Let's see. I can also take. But then he takes and he has h3 h2, very scary potentially, but actually I think I can get away with it. So I want to open up the b file. He's going to take back, and then I'm going to take the pawn on g4. Do you play any non-standard openings for OTB? I do sometimes, but it depends on the situation. So I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna try to use this long diagonal for the bishop and go after the pawn on b7 here with bishop f3 next move. So let's see what we get. But yeah, I don't have any like strong convictions for shorts, but yes, I would say like with Nvidia at is it really 475? I mean, if I was looking at I don't know if I would be shorting Nvidia, but I'd probably be looking where is Nvidia relative to like Intel and AMD and everything else. Like what is the spread? 140 billion market cap for Intel, and Nvidia at 1.18. I mean 10 to 1. I think that's out of whack. I don't think it should be 10 to 1. I don't think the spread should be 10 to 1. And what is AMD at, I guess, is another question. AMD at 5% today. Wow. 196. Yeah, 5.5 to 1, 6 to 1 ish. I don't know. I don't feel like I feel like that's sort of out of whack. I don't think those that's balanced. Let's play bishop f3. Put pressure on the long diagonal. I will take, and now my opponent's going to lose material on b7. Micron's not catching the rally, but Micron's because of China, right? Isn't it because of China? But yeah, Micron's still sitting at 64. That's crazy. It was 68 or something. It was like 67, 68 before earnings, and 64. Wow. Anyway, all right. Waiting for a move here. Let's see what Pablo does. He's probably going to lose the pawn here on b7. I'm probably breaking through and going to win the game. Let's take the pawn. I have queen f5 here, maybe queen b3. My king is still very safe here while his king is on the loose trying to escape. So he goes king c8. If I go queen f5 check, there's queen e6. I'm looking for a theme, so I think queen e4 is a very solid move. Line up the double A battery here on the e file. Best opening for beginners right now. Again, all openings are playable, but I think, you know, I saw this, there's a funny thread on this site that shall remain unnamed about openings, and I think, you know, as someone pointed out, Capablanca said like king safety, piece activity, and sort of open files or open diagonals. And I think that in general, okay, he goes there. I could check, which is kind of cheeky. Oh, this is cheeky because it's mate no matter how he captures. Captures the king, it's mate. He captures the bishop, it's mate because of the double A battery. Yeah, this is unrated, so this is not a rated event. Go check, and now he's just going to lose material and lose the game. But it's what I would emphasize before is I think that you should play openings where you get easy development of the two bishops on these two diagonals, and you get the knights to c3 and f3. You basically, in a perfect world, something like this: you get the bishop out, you get the other bishop out, and then you get both of the knights out like this, and you get to castle. I think if you can open both the diagonals for the bishops, openings that have these sorts of basic ideas are really the simplest openings to play. And most of the openings that I played as a beginner featured variations where you get the bishops out very straightforward on both of these diagonals. All right, so let's go again. Next game. Where do I check stock market? I mean, I have Yahoo Finance open. I know it's very boomerish. Let's play e4, and following the theme, I do think openings where you get this easy development of the two bishops are the best openings as a beginner. When you get the active diagonals where you develop bishops on these two diagonals in a very straightforward manner, I think it's really important if you do that. Okay, so he plays d5. Now I'm going to play e5 and play the advanced French. French I don't like at the beginner levels, primarily because if you're playing this with black pieces, very hard to understand the pawn break with f6. Now bishop d7, bishop b5 I like. It is one of the better ways of getting rid of this weak light square bishop. Owen's defense, no. Anything that features like fianchettos as a beginner, I think it's very difficult to play. Very difficult to play. So I'm going to go here, bishop c2, put the bishop on a nice diagonal. Now here I'm going to do... No, we're at the beginner level, so I'm not going to. Knight d4 is probably the best move, which I played something like this in the FIDE World Cup in Libya in 2004 or 2003 against Michael Adams. I think it was 2003, maybe it was 2004. Not Michael Adams, sorry, against Sergei Volkov in the first round. But you take with the knight. The reason you take with the knight is to stop black from getting rid of this weak light square bishop. But in this case, it's not a big deal. It was in Libya, yes, you guys. I went to Libya. Play knight c3. Tani played against Federer in a New York park. Wait, are you serious? He played chess against Federer? Wait, are you kidding me? Seriously? Dang. Now Federer, one of Federer's big coaches in the last few years is a very hardcore chess player. I'm gonna play knight d2 and take the bishop. Yeah, if mods have a link to that, I wouldn't mind looking at that. That's pretty sick. Let's go knight b3 here. Nigel Short was there as well. What? That sounded really great until you said that. That sounded really good until you mentioned the last part. Until you mentioned the last part, I was like, okay, that sounds really good, and then I'm like, yeah. So no, one of Federer's coaches though, Ivan Lubicic, is a very serious chess player. He's like around 2000, 2100 online. Very good player. Okay, let's go a4, activate the bishop on this diagonal. I also have knight c5. The pawn's holding the knight. Yeah. Okay, we got knight e5 here. Now I'm gonna go knight to c5. Keep the pawns and the knight together. Okay, it goes rook c8, which allows knight d7. Now I'm not going to play knight d7, which wins the game, because I want to follow some themes here. But this is one of the reasons I think that's very hard to play the French, because here I have very easy play, very open diagonals. It's not really clear what black is playing for, and black can't break the center. In this case, definitely he can't, because the pawn is too weak on e6. Then how do you play? What are the themes? That's the big issue. Now I'm going to go h4 and try to activate the rook, because I cannot castle the king here. b6 is actually a very good move. I'll sack the knight. I don't really want to give up this pawn and the bishop here. Let's just take. I'll go back, keep the diagonal alive. I can also play like rook h3 here maybe, and rook f3 or rook g3. What's real is what real. Okay, I'm gonna go h5 here, maybe h6, maybe queen g5, maybe rook f3. But I'll drop the juicer back, keep the bishop alive on the long diagonal here. A lot of pressure, even though I'm down a piece. I have like rook f3, I have queen g5. I'm going to take here because now there's also pressure on the h file to boot. Let's take the pawn. Now big pressure in the center. Let's take the pawn. If he takes, he gets mated. Can't take with a knight to the pin, and I should win the game pretty soon. The Federer thing is kind of crazy. If there's a video of it, I'll react to it. Let's go check what I think of the Adam 22 situation. I mean, I don't really know the people involved. I've seen it pop up on my Twitter feed. I don't really know much, but I mean, what do you want me to say? I'm just gonna say, like, I mean, I'll give you the generic take, which is like, I don't know, if you're married to someone, I don't know, having your significant others having sex with someone else is just kind of weird. I'll just say that. That's my that's my hot take. Let's go queen f6 and hit the rook on g8 h8. Yeah, so let's see. Anyway, yeah, I mean, yeah. So waiting for a move here. Get rook g8. I'm gonna play rook takes h7, put pressure on the 7th rank here. And now I will take the knight with the rook and play bishop f5. Actually, he hangs the queen. That's GG. Let's just take. I guess now I go rook takes b7, just checkmate on either c7 or d7. Can't really stop it. Go checkmate. Next game. Goes d4. Okay, now I guess here I will play knight f6. Let's play e6. I guess I'll go bishop to b4. Play c5. Guess we'll play knight c6. Simple development here, by the way. I just play like b6, bishop b7, and keep going. Let's go here. Now both the bishops on some nice diagonals. They're very open diagonals here. Let's just castle. Let's go rook c8, play on the c file as well. Get rook d1 here. Logical move. I'm gonna put my queen here, put the rook here, try to play in the center down the road. Both these bishops are very, very well placed right now, and the rook on c8 wants to play on this open file eventually. So good bishops. I want the rooks on the c and the d files, so I expect to open up the center of the board with d5 at some point, and then the rook should play on the c file. So queen c2, I'm gonna go queen b8. Let's go bishop to e7 and d5. Now of course you see the whole justification with the rook being on d8. Magnus said Twitch is kind of toxic, and that's actually I should have put the bishop on f8, not e7. Play d5. Just open up the center of the board. I want to open both these files eventually for the rooks. Now I misplayed this. I should have actually gone bishop to f8 so that I could play knight to e7 and then d5 and not have an isolated pawn, but nonetheless I'm still better because I can play d4, and now the rook plays very nicely with the rook and the queen on the c file. Goes queen f5. Now it's a decent move here, but I can play rook to d5 and activate the rook here in the center of the board. Can I find a 2200 win against tilted GM? I don't know. Yeah, by the way, for everyone who's mentioning, if there's some video of Tawny playing Federer, I can react to it, but I don't know where it is exactly. Some guy called Bastian Fetchen's Twitter. Okay, let me find it. Let me find it. Oh, it's 2 minutes. Is there an actual video? Let me see this. Yeah, I see it. Wow, that's pretty insane, actually. That's pretty insane. But actually, I figured it out. You know. Let's play bishop a6 and put pressure on the knight here. Yeah, I found the video. I'll react to it. Yeah. Okay, he takes. I trade the knights and I take the knight on b5 here. And I should win the game. What's insane? There's a video of Federer playing chess. Actually, let's play bishop takes b5. There's a video of Federer playing chess against Tawny. He's like 12, 13. I don't know how old Tawny is now, but against Tawny. Nobody cares about Magnus and Wesley. Those are just some stupid chess players. But Roger Federer is kind of like actually a big deal. Let's play bishop c6 and maybe rook d6 or rook f5. I would say it's probably it's probably related to the video that they're doing, because I think Trevor Noah, who's actually very close to Roger Federer, is let's play rook d8. Because I think Trevor Noah, who's involved with like the whole video they're making on Tawny, is a good friend of Federer, so that's probably how it came about, was like through Trevor Noah. Let's play bishop b7 and trade some rooks here. The Dilupi 2 minute is just out 1 hour ago. I don't know what you mean. Huh? I don't know what you mean. Anyway, I don't know what you mean by that. Let's trade the rooks here and play rook c8. Trade some rooks here. Have I ever met Federer? No, I have not. We got bishop f5. I will trade. Play queen d6 and queen d5. It's funny because I think both Magnus and myself at some point were both. I think we were both trying to, but yeah, neither of us were able to. So, yep, that's like. Oh, it looks like it's a promo video from a clothes store called Uniqlo. Okay, let's play queen d5. Let's hit the bishop, hit the pawn, and g2 here. Okay, bishop on f5, very weak. I will just take it. The Trevor Noah's the he does like the late night, the Daily Show or late night show, or one of those shows. Yeah, play queen d7, play knight e8 and bishop f6. Just trade off pieces because I have 2 extra pieces here. So let's go here, trade the bishops off, and go from there. Play bishop d5 and maybe f6 here, and king f7, knight c7, knight e6, and go from there. Oh, he used to do the Daily Show. Okay. And also, people are talking about Wimbledon. Is Djokovic struggling or something? No, Djokovic is up 2 sets to love. You guys are acting like Djokovic is struggling, but he's just winning. He was penalized on a point for grunting too long. I mean, Djokovic does that. When points get critical, he starts grunting for no reason out of thin air. But yeah, it's what it is. Like there's I remember watching, I showed a video on stream before, but there was a video when he was like playing in the Australian Open against some Korean guy, and he did lose that match. And it's like when it was suddenly like one set, one set all, it's like in a tiebreaker or something. It's like really tight, and then suddenly on one of the points, in the middle of the point, Djokovic just starts like screeching on every point out of nowhere. It's just like goes like every point. So let's go check. Let's go checkmate here. All right, so let's stop the music. Let's react to this video that I have from Twitter. So let me pull it up. Let me pull this Twitter up, because there is a video that we have. So let me change the scene. There we go. Let me change the scene so that we at least have chat on this. Okay, here we go. Let me make this a little bit let me pull this out. There's some video of Federer. Let me make this full screen, and let me change the scene. There we go. All right, where's chat? Where's chat? There's chat, right? Okay, let's unmute this. Let me unmute the tab as well. 1 second. Let me unmute the tab, and let me make this, turn the volume up, and let's react to this video. Let's watch this video. Actually, it's still a little bit off. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Go. Okay. All right, let's watch this video. All right, we don't need chat. We don't actually want chat on this, I don't think. Okay, what is this?
I haven't been nervous in a while, since my playing days, basically. But I've never sat across a chess master, so today what made me a little nervous.
How many Grand Slams have you won?
20.
20. 5
US Opens, 8 Wimbledon, 1 French Open, and 6 Australian Opens.
So I'm going to be down a rook.
But by the way, how insane, how ridiculously insane is this, you guys? How insane is this that literally Federer is in, I think that's Washington Square Park, and there is nobody around? Like, how insane is that? Like, let's be honest. Like, how insane is that there's nobody around? Like, that is completely ridiculous. No, but I mean security, maybe there's security, but like there would be people on the edge watching. There would be people on the edge. Like, they might be blocked up. There are people on the edge watching for sure. I mean, it's probably just a random day. It's probably like middle of the day and no one's there. Nobody cares about tennis. I mean, yeah, they won't show on the promo, maybe. I'm just saying, yeah, I mean, I know exactly where this is.
Many more things than a rook, I can tell you that.
Okay, so first things first, let me go back 1 second. As we look at this game, okay, this is not that bad from Federer. Like, you can see you have the pawn on d4 and e3. Like, it's kind of okay. It's not terrible at the same time. Like, there's some basic understanding, but it's not out of this world. I'm just saying, like, here, for example, there was security. You'd see people over by the bikes. You'd see people by the bikes somewhere around here. But I mean, you don't see anyone around, like, even behind. Like, there's no way you'd have security cordoning this off by that big of a distance. Like, there's just no way. I mean, I've been in the park a million times, and so, like, they must have gone at like lunch hour, or like really like low-key out of nowhere in the blue. Because it's crazy how no one even is gathered there.
Yeah,
so how did you get so good at this?
basically, at first, we were in Nigeria, and we had to leave Nigeria.
Yeah.
We moved to New York. New York, we were at a shelter, a homeless shelter. We stayed there. It's great. I started playing chess in the homeless shelter.
Oh, really? How long were you there?
We were there for around a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to be a grandmaster, like before 14. I think I can get there.
That's amazing.
Now checkmate.
Checkmate? Oh, man. Well,
All right. You played really well. You played really well.
Anything else we're doing? Are we doing another one?
We're gonna do a reset, and then your friends are gonna come.
Well, his friends? Even his buddies. Oh my God, it's so unfair, this game.
I mean, you should have brought Nadal.
Yeah, where are they when I need them? Fine. I mean, I thought they were my friends too, you know? Clearly not.
What's up, Tony?
Well, you know what's up. Nice to meet you guys. Hello. Who's good at chess? Everybody? I can quickly call.
Opening's not bad here either, by the way. The opening here is not bad. Like, he again, like same kind of thing. Federer plays like d6. I think it's a black pawn at e5. I can't tell, but he brings the knights out, brings the bishops out. So at least on some level, he knows some basic stuff. That much is very clear.
I can quickly call somebody to take my place. It's inevitable what's going to happen here.
I have an idea coming.
Is something bad happening for me here?
By the way, one of those guys is Tani's coach. I recognize one of those guys as Sean Martinez, who is one of Tani's coaches. So these are actual chess people. These aren't just like random like extras that they brought in to like do whatever.
Oh my God. Oh, well done. Well played. I will sleep well tonight. I'm going to be exhausted.
Yeah, no paid actors.
When Tani was under pressure that one time.
Did you even stand a chance?
I don't think for a second.
It's a promo for Uniqlo. It's like 24 hours. That's what it is. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, that makes sense what they're doing. It's like 24. It's probably like 24 hours, and they have him doing like a bunch of different things in New York City. It's kind of like Anthony Bourdain probably. So yeah, but still pretty good stuff. You know what's funny though is that Federer's coach probably could actually beat Tani. That's what's pretty funny is his coach Ivan Lubicic was like 2100 and probably could actually take a game off of Tani. Anyway, let's keep going with our arena. That was actually really good though. Nice video. Very good. Okay, we're gonna play e5 here. Keep going. Same as Max with Ronaldo. Well, that's like I know what the point is. Yeah, Tani is an IM, but Federer's coach is like legitimately very good. He's probably like 2100 online. I'm not joking. Let's go bishop c5. I don't think so. Tani beat Levy. You guys stop being weird. I'm saying that somebody could win. I'm saying that his coach would probably win a game. I'm not saying his coach would win every game. I'm saying he would probably be able to win one game. Stop being weird, you guys. Jeez, this is not a speedrun. We're doing a view arena right now. But anyway, yeah, let's play d5 here. Jeez. Let's go knight e4 here and play bishop b6. That's it's like, I mean, you guys twisting it out of context. I'm saying, oh yeah, Tani would lose every game. He'd lead like come on. I'm saying that his coach would have a chance to win a game against. I'm not saying that Tani would lose every game. Stop being weird. All right, let's castle here. We've got a bit of a center issue here. There are pawns and pieces in the center of the board. I'm gonna play bishop g4, pin the knight here, try to overexert the pressure on the pawn on d4. Let's take the knight. Do I think Tani could be a GM by 14? I don't know what Tani's rating is. I can actually check. Let me see what his rating is. His FIDE rating is 20. His FIDE rating is currently what's his rating? It's 2276, and he was born in 2010. It's gonna be tough. I'm gonna say that. It's gonna be tough. I mean, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to tell. 2283 in May of 2023. He's born in September, so he's turning 13 in a couple of months. A very critical period of time. People are born in 2010. I know. Tell me about it, you guys. Tell me. I would say right now it's difficult because Tani's so young, so he can have a lot of quick improvement. But I'd have to look at his graph and other things, but I would say it's a critical spot where he's going to need to let's trade everything off here in place. It's a critical spot. Let me just look at his rating progress chart. his rating, he got to 2314 and then he had a big downward spurt, 2314, 2283, and he hasn't really improved since. Again, I mean, very hard to judge right now because he is very young and he could improve very quickly. I would say though, the next, like, I will actually give something of a hot take. He is like, we're talking in terms of being a very serious grandmaster, potentially top level player. The next year to year and a half is absolutely critical for Tani. He's going to need to improve a lot in the next year and a half. If he doesn't, the chances of him getting like 2700 are out of the question. And I don't mean that to be like really be a negative Nancy or something, but when you're young, you have this big potential for quick improvement, and there's a very fine window where you have to like you have to have like massive improvement. It's generally, for most players who get to the top, it's between, I would say, like 13 and like 15 to 16. It's somewhere in this tight band range where they improve a lot. But as far as I mean, I think he can definitely get there, but he's gonna need to really grind it this summer. I think if he's gonna need to grind this summer, because also if he doesn't if he doesn't like improve a lot now, like I assume he's going to school too, it's gonna be hard, I would think, during the regular school year to get the tournaments in and to have the improvement. So yeah. And as someone just said, Ivan Lubicic has played 10,000 games of chess on Lee Chess. Like 10,000 games of chess on Lee Chess. I mean, what is Lubicic doing all day? Does he literally go out there and Federer's on the practice court hitting his forehand? It's just like he's on his phone playing chess. He's like, nice forehand. Or maybe he's playing and he's just like hitting a forehand, another move, backhand, another move, forehand. Of course he could do it because Lubicic, as I recall, had a one-handed backhand, so he doesn't need to use both hands if he's on the practice court with Federer. He could always just be hitting the one-hand backhand and then be playing on Lee Chess on his phone with the other hand. Yeah, no, because Lubicic, I think he had a standard one-handed backhand. He didn't hit it two-handed. I think he had a one-handed backhand if I recall correctly. So yeah. Anyway, back to the chess where we're at it. Yeah, but I'm up a pawn here. White has some weakness in the center of the board, but it should be okay. So yeah, let's go here, guard the pawn so I can take this pawn on e5. Bum, ba, da, 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 dum. Shake it up, baby, now. Shake it up, baby. All right, let's keep going. Arena for new video. I'm just playing Arena because it's a way to kill a little bit of time, give people a chance to play again. We try to explain certain things. Of course, we've kind of gone off the rails. Nobody cares, but Hans is currently lost the game to 2400, 2400. Yeah, I mean, okay, whatever. Nobody cares. Let's play Queen takes c3. Play Queen takes c3, put pressure on the pawn on c6, pressure on the pawn on e3 as well. How important is Tani's coaching his progression? GM, there's a lot of that on Tani. I don't know exactly who Tani is. I don't know who Tani is working with. I think what I would say is that for Tani, assuming he's still working with like Sean Martinez or people like that, I think right now it doesn't matter that much. I think once, you know, I think a coach really, this is Botez Gambit, where a coach really matters is when you're like when you're close to IM pushing towards GM. And it also sometimes isn't even so much about the chess. It's more about like having somebody who's had the experience and sort of the way that they can make you feel good or make you understand, like, you know, when you don't have great results, you know, it's not the end of the world and to keep moving forward. People who've been in that situation before have a lot of experience. In many ways, I think that's almost more important than anything else, is like just having someone who's coaching you who has had those experiences, like going for norms and losing critical games, being in those situations. Okay, we're gonna play the Scandinavian this time. Yeah. Okay, he plays e5. I'll play c5, take some center, activate the light square bishop, and keep going. Let's go here, put pressure on the pawn on d4. Go bishop f5 and e6. Will we see in the bullet brawl? Yes, you guys, of course I'll be playing the bullet brawl. Now the bishop is outside the chain of the pawns. It's an active piece, and now I have my setup that I want with this pawn chain. So let's just trade the pawns, play rook c8, maybe knight b4, trying to angle for some tricks here on the c file. But I mean, that's what I would say is like, I mean, again, Tawny's doing great and everything, and I don't think you should change anything. But that is the one thing, is that sometimes if you have a coach who hasn't been in those situations when like you're playing for norms or have that experience, sometimes it can be difficult, because in many cases, like, I mean, I would say that a coach in many ways is like a second, it's almost like a second father, I would say, in some ways, like as you're trying to improve, where like a coach are really trying to help you, and you take their advice and things like that. So that might be the one drawback to not having a relatively strong coach. But I think where Tawny's at, I think someone who's a master level player can help him immensely. And Tawny's so young that I think trying to mix it up or change things is probably not a good idea either. Okay, I'm just going to keep developing here. Queens are off the board, so the king of the center is very well placed. Let's go after the pawn on the rim. His knight on the rim is bad. Can someone be their own coach? Of course you can be, but I would say the only time that you can be your own coach, unless your name is Roger Federer, of course. I think Federer won a couple of years without a coach. I would say that the only time you can really be your own coach is if you're a very strong GM. I would say if you're a GM over maybe like 2600, you can definitely be your own coach. But if you're trying to rise through the ranks, like master, international master, grand master, and get towards those towards the highest levels, you cannot do it on your own. You need someone to be your coach, also because mentally you need that stability too. You need someone around you who can sort of lift you up when times aren't going great. Now he offers to trade the knights. I am going to trade, and the reason I'm going to trade is for themes. His knight on the rim is dead. It can't come back into the game. So the knight is dead on the rim, and I also control the open C file here. This is why you don't like putting knights on the rim. My coach is Sergio Chess 83. Does that mean he's my dad? No, but I mean, again, I'm talking if you're like trying to become an IM or GM. I'm talking like the higher levels. I want to go b4 and kick this knight or capture the knight for free here. So go b4, trap the horse. The horse is dead on the rim here. The horse has no squares to go to. I capture it no matter where it goes, and if not, I capture it on the square it's on. The streamer Magnus Russo started, yeah, but the game started at 11:15. They never start on the hour. Yeah, you don't think Lubicic is actually 2100? He's 2100 on Lead Chess Rapid. Oh, there's another Lubicic who's just under 2100 on FIDE's website. Okay, I don't know. Now I'm gonna try to trade all the rooks off here on the back rank of the board. Go here. Is it raining by me? I have my blinds closed, so I don't know. I trade everything off, and then I eat the pawns on the dark square with the bishop. I go here. I can just go bishop d6 and e5 here, and I win the game. But yes, the Champions Chess Tour is starting much later on. It's not starting yet. Go here. Do I think young talents being snuffed out by engines? Would you say engines overly strengthened established players who can just train with super comps all day, meanwhile kids at school? I don't know if I would agree with that necessarily. What I do think is true, however, is that computers have made a lot of people not the understanding of chess at sort of the sub like top super GM level, I think has become a lot worse because people use computers from the start. They don't actually use their brains as much. So I think the actual understanding has gone downhill quite a bit, which maybe gets back to your point where it's like the kids can't get as good, because it's true. Like if you look at Gukesh, for example, Gukesh, he did not work with computers until he was like 2300. I think that's one thing that all the current top players did, is they got to a very strong level before the computer engines took over the game. Like Levon, for example, is one. Vichy, obviously, but even Magnus and myself, we got to a very high level of chess off of basic openings, basic understanding before the engines kind of overtook everything. So it's like, even for myself, I mean, Deep Blue was the first computer program that was clearly better than humans, and that was like 1998, I think. Was it 97 or 98? Maybe it was like late 97 when it beat Kasparov. I don't remember whether it was 97 or 98, but I was already 10 to 11 years old. I was already a strong master level player by the time that Deep Blue had surpassed Kasparov. And of course from there it just became this, like, it became really fast, the improvement of the computer program. So I would say that is one thing that does concern me a little bit, is that, like, when you look at the kids, almost all of them these days, they do a lot of memorization, a lot of puzzles because of technology, but the pure understanding that you get from not using computers is missing. I will be covering Wesley and Magnus. Let's go f3 here. I'm up a pawn. I have the 2 bishops. I've got a chain of pawns. Very, very pleasant position. Let's just develop the bishop here. So okay, let's go b3 here. Has there ever been a chess player who's gone top levels without a coach? Pretty rare. No, it doesn't happen. I'm gonna trade and take. It was 97. Yeah, I remember I went to the match. You know, I remember this very clearly, you guys. For whatever reason, we were in this big auditorium watching on the big screen at the convention center or wherever they held that match, and they asked people who were watching, they asked people who were watching, like you know, what did they think was going to happen in that fateful game 6? And I remember, like, quite a few people said that Gary was going to win the game, and they asked me, and I said no. I think Deep Blue is going to win. I think I might have actually gotten a few boos when I said that. But yeah, in 97 I was there for the final game between Kasparov and Deep Blue when Deep Blue sacked the knight on the e6 square for the pawn. Yeah, so yeah. All right, we get rook d8. I will take. How does Koji work for 2700 plus? Like, I see the Koji usually 2600. How does that work? I'll give you a great example. Oh, he took. I'll give you a great example of how that works. So one thing is, like, oftentimes, like, I'm playing in the tournament, but my trainer Chris Littlejohn, he's generally, like, watching the games, he's listening to commentary, all these different things. So, like, for example, in the past, or many times, like during the US Championship specifically, where I would be playing my game and Chris would be listening to the broadcast, he'd be listening to the interviews with the players and what they're saying after the game about what they've done or what the commentators are saying, and these sorts of insights are things that I could never really pay attention to. So there are a lot of little things like that as well. Now I'm gonna play a classic French with knight f6. Yeah. If we get takes, I'm gonna take with a pawn here and play like bishop d6 and c6. Go bishop d6 and c6 here. So, like, some of those insights are very critical for sure. Wesley not having a coach, like, you can say he didn't have a coach, but he was playing a lot of blitz online against very strong players. He did work with some people, maybe not in the way of being like full-time coaches where they're getting paid, but there were people that he worked with. Let's play knight d7 and rook e8 here. But no, he did not get to like 2700 without, like, just purely on his own. So let's play rook e8 and bishop f8 here. Actually, I could go knight f8. I'm gonna go bishop f8 just to guard the pawn on h6. Do I think that I will ever become a coach? Very unlikely, you guys. I think I can actually say this, but you know, I am actually financially trying to help out some of the junior players. Like, I'm trying to support some of them financially. So you know, I do stuff, not specifically coaching, but I do things like that. So I do make my own little contributions in my own kind of way. But in terms of actual coaching, very unlikely. Let's go knight c4. Names, please. Sorry, no names. No names. Take. Yeah. No, and actually it's not a joke. Like, it's actually not a joke. Like, it's quite expensive, like, if you think about it. Like, again, I don't like talking about money and things like that, of course, for the most part, but I will say this, that, like, you know, I mean, like, there's one junior in particular who I am helping out, and like, I think I'm spending something like, I guess I can say this, it's like probably like 2,500, $3,000 a month. Like, yeah, like, I mean, it's not cheap, and that's not even at the top levels. That's not even at the top levels, you guys. So let's go knight c5. My opponent's made some weaknesses around his king. Yeah, no, it's not a joke. Not a joke at all. But again, I don't need the credit. I know there are a lot of people on certain Reddit threads and elsewhere who think I'm some egomaniac and, like, I want credit for every last little thing, blah blah blah, all that rubbish. But at the end of the day, like, I don't need that credit. I make my own contributions, but I don't need people saying how great I am or this or that. So everything that I do it very, very quietly. But yeah, it's not cheap, and that's not even at the top levels. I'm gonna go here and guard the pawn at h5. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, So by basic calculations, you are worth 50 million. Thank you. Let's play rook c8. What are the expenses? Actually, you know what it is? It's just actually it's actually paying for lessons with like strong GMs and coaches. That's what it is. That's what it is. Actually, it's not about traveling. That stuff, by the way, is expensive too, because a lot of these tournaments are not cheap. So if you play in Europe, for example, you have to travel there. Usually it's like if you're a young promising junior, it's not just you. You have a parent who has to go with you, obviously. And then like it's just, yeah, it's very expensive. Even in the US, a lot of these events that you see now, they're big entry fees, like $850 or $1,000 to play in these GM 1000 tournaments. Like it's not cheap. Chess is very expensive. Yeah. Let's go rook c8. Number 2 player in the world paying for someone to get a coach. Well, why wouldn't I, you guys? You act like everybody in chess is rich and they can just do that. I mean, come on. Play queen b6 and take the pawn on a3. Yeah, I mean, come on. You can try to be all weird all you want, but like, yeah, I mean, seriously. Right now it's only 1 player. I might branch out further and help others additionally, but as of right now it's only 1. Okay, let's just play rook c6 here. Yeah, it's definitely Levy. Yeah, it's a good one. Play queen c7 and play rook c2. Yeah. The barrier to entry is in chess is ridiculous. It's I mean it's expensive. It's expensive. Let's put it that way. It's very expensive. It is a US player. Yes, it is someone in the US. Okay, we get queen e3. I'm gonna play a6 here, not hang the pawn on a7. Yeah. Let's go queen c3 and go after this rook on e1 here. My opponent's playing a great game so far. Thank you, Fastness. Thank you for that suggestion. Thank you. Yeah. Go queen d2. Yeah, good one. Yeah, good one. All that just to make a little bit of money as a top player. I mean, that's the other thing that's brutal about chess. The tour is starting soon. We have time for maybe 1 or 2 more games. So okay, let's just take the pawn on f2, and then I think I can play d4 bishop h3 and win the game. What do I think Federer will do? I don't think Federer is going to do anything. I think Federer is going to do what makes him happy. It's my perception of Roger Federer is like I want to be like him one day, which is just like you see, like he stopped playing. He doesn't need to go out there and like do anything. Like he's not out there trying to like keep his name relevant or any of that sort of stuff. He's just doing his own thing, living his own life. I doubt that like even if NBC offered him like $50 million to be in the booth, I don't think he would do it, because I think he's going to do what he wants to enjoy. I mean, he's not an egomaniac who needs, like, again, he doesn't need that, like, he doesn't need the praise. He's already done amazing things. So I don't think Federer is going to do anything, unlike, say, Tommy Boy, who Tommy's going to the booth because he wants to make that money for sure. Also, I haven't looked at the shoe company. What is the stock? Has the stock price done well or not? I haven't looked. I don't think they were doing great last I looked. What is the stock price of On? Let's see. Is it still On? Is at $101? That looks very high. Yeah, it's at an all-time high. I think it's overpriced, but still, who cares? Let's go check and mate. Let's keep going with time for one more game. Let's play e4. Like I said, general development. I think using these two diagonals very, very important. Okay, now see, this is why, like, I also the Grand Prix, which my stepfather taught me, very good opening, because you get this light square bishop out, and then you try to play with the dark square bishop down the road. Like, it's very, very simplistic play, and I think it's really worth noting. Now, my opponent plays g6. You can't really create the Swiss cheese unless you move the knight or the bishop. He's gonna run into some serious problems because of this now. Yeah, of course, when I say Tommy Bahama, I'm talking about Tom Brady. Let's just take. I'm not going to take the rook here. I could, of course, but I'm not going to. But we will be covering the match very soon, you guys. So yeah, go e5 here, maybe knight e4. E6 and g6 is playable depending on the structure, but you need to get your king out, and he doesn't get it out before I interrupt his king movement. And now it's just GG because the king has to go to f8. I castle. I have really easy development. Bishop, rook, attack. Very simple, very simple and easy play. Like I'm gonna go rook here, g4, f5, and it's gonna be game over very soon. I'll just take rook f1 to follow the theme of playing for f5. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, even if Roger Federer was offered 100 million to do commentary for like NBC on Wimbledon and things, I would bet you any amount of money, not any amount of money, but I would bet you that he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. He's gonna be like, yeah, okay, but money isn't the overriding concern for Roger Federer, at least in my opinion. Have I ever shorted stocks? Of course I have. Take the queen. Keep going. Time for one more game. Okay, let's play e4 here. 100 million is a lot, though. I get it, but I don't think Federer is like, he's a billionaire basically. Why would he care? Let's again follow the basic themes here. And actually, this is the other opening I played a lot as a kid, which is c4 c5. I've shorted, I've been long and short Tesla many times. I played both sides of that coin more times than I'd like to admit. Now he goes knight f4. He's supposed to go knight b6, but again, I get the quick development of the two bishops, which at the beginner level is very important. Apple will boom. Apple I think is way overpriced. I mean, it's like 3 trillion. I don't believe that it's worth 3 trillion. It's worth a lot, but it's 3 trillion to me is insane. Okay, so let's just develop our pieces again. It's really critical in my opinion you play openings where you get the knights out and you get the bishops active on these two diagonals very specifically. I'm going to develop the knight. Maybe I'll castle. My opponent has no development either, so great development here. Great development. Plays h6. I'm going to line up the batter here. Just very simple, smooth play. And it's much easier to play when you have, I think when you have the bishops being able to be actively developed on these two diagonals from the get-go, it's a lot easier in my opinion to play. So I'm going to go queen d3 here. Threaten the classic checkmate on h7. He stops. I'm just going to go h4, h5, try to rip open this diagonal if I can. Go here. And play h5. Let's take, go for checkmate very soon. We're watching Magnus, but it hasn't started, right? Doesn't it start? I thought it started in like, wait, I thought it started in let me go to events page. Has it started division 1? Let me mute this tab so you don't. No, it hasn't started. It starts at 15. So let's go checkmate. All right, let's get ready. I'm gonna log in with my other account, my main account, of course.